They say the Grand Canyon hides secrets older than humanity. But one explorer discovered something no one was ever supposed to see. Evan Miller, a young geology student from Arizona, had always been fascinated by the canyon's mysteries, but he never imagined he'd be the one to uncover its greatest secret. For weeks, rumors had been circulating about strange light seen flickering deep inside an uncharted cave system. For most, it was just a local legend. For Evan, it was an irresistible call to adventure. The Grand Canyon stretched before him, a breathtaking scar on the face of the earth. Its vast red walls, carved by millennia, plunged down to meet the Colorado River, which shimmered like a silver ribbon far below. The wind whispered through the chasms, carrying with it the scent of dust and ancient stone. Each layer of rock told a story millions of years in the making. Evan arrived with a small research team, their official goal to map a rarely visited section of the canyon. They set up camp, surrounded by the silent, towering giants of rock, completely unaware of the world that was hidden just beneath their feet. The team was focused on data, on geological formations, on the science of the canyon, but Evan felt something else. A pull, a sense of history that went deeper than just the rock layers. A few days into the expedition, while examining a remote cliff face, Evan found something that wasn't on any map. It was an old Navajo carving, weathered by time, depicting a distinct spiral that seemed to lead underground. That evening, back at camp, he showed his sketch to a Navajo ranger who was patrolling the area. The ranger's expression grew serious. "Some places are not meant to be entered," he said, his voice low and solemn. "The canyon remembers." The rest of Evan's team dismissed it as folklore, a charming but irrelevant story. They were scientists, after all. But the ranger's words lingered in Evan's mind, and the image of the spiral felt less like a simple carving and more like a key. He felt an undeniable pull, a deep-seated curiosity that overshadowed any sense of caution. He had to know what it meant. As the sun began to dip below the canyon rim, painting the sky in fiery oranges and purples, Evan felt that pull grow stronger. He wandered away from the camp, drawn toward the area where he'd found the carving. That's when he saw it. A faint, pulsing glow emanating from a narrow crack in the rock face, almost completely hidden by overgrown brush. His heart pounded in his chest. He squeezed through the opening and found himself in a narrow tunnel. The air inside was strangely warm, and a low hum vibrated through the stone. He took a few steps forward, then stopped to listen. That's when he heard it. The faint echo of footsteps, even though he was standing perfectly still. A shiver ran down his spine, but his curiosity was stronger than his fear. He had to see where this passage led. He followed the tunnel as it sloped deeper into the earth. The humming grew louder, the air warmer. After what felt like an eternity, the narrow passage opened up into a breathtaking sight. He was standing in a gigantic, hidden cavern so vast its ceiling was lost in shadows. The entire chamber was illuminated by an otherworldly blue light, emanating from massive crystals that grew from the walls like ancient trees. At the very center of the cavern sat a large, carved stone platform. As his eyes adjusted, he saw that the walls were covered in intricate carvings. But these weren't just simple symbols. They were detailed images of floods, of fires that consumed entire landscapes, and of giant creatures that roamed the earth. He slowly realized what he was looking at. This wasn't just a cave, it was an ancient archive, a recording of Earth's history far older than any known civilization. Just as this profound realization washed over him, the ground began to shake violently. The humming from the crystals intensified into a deafening roar. Dust rained down from the cavern ceiling. It felt as if the entire canyon was waking up, and it was angry. Water began to rush through smaller tunnels connected to the chamber, the sound echoing like a monstrous heartbeat. In a moment of sheer instinct, Evan reached out and touched one of the giant, glowing crystals. Instantly, his mind was flooded with visions. He saw the Grand Canyon's formation, not as a slow geological process, but as a rapid, cataclysmic event. He saw the layers of rock being laid down in torrents of water and fire. He saw ancient tribes who lived and vanished, rivers that once flowed where there was now only desert, and storms of unimaginable scale. He wasn't just seeing history, he was living it. The visions shattered as a huge chunk of rock broke free from the ceiling and crashed onto the stone platform. shattering it into a million pieces. The cavern was collapsing. The beautiful crystals flickered and dimmed as the walls around them began to crumble. Panic set in. Evan turned and ran, scrambling back toward the tunnel he'd come from. The ground heaved beneath him. He dodged falling boulders that crashed down, sealing off passages he'd just passed through. Behind him, he could hear the roar of rising water, a furious torrent chasing him through the twisting labyrinth. His research bag, full of his notes and sketches, was ripped from his shoulder as he squeezed through a closing gap. He didn't look back. In the chaos, his hand instinctively closed around a small, glowing crystal shard that had broken off. He kept running, with only one thought in his mind. Escape. He burst out of the rock face, gasping for air, and tumbled down a sandy embankment, landing just feet from the edge of the Colorado River. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a soft golden light over the canyon. The entrance to the hidden tunnel was gone, sealed by the rockfall as if it had never existed. As Evan caught his breath, he looked down at his hand. The crystal shard that had glowed so brightly in the cavern was now just a dull, ordinary-looking piece of quartz. Its light extinguished, as if hiding its secret from the morning sun. Just then, a figure appeared beside him. It was the Navajo Ranger. He looked from Evan to the sealed rock face, then back again. "The canyon chose to show you what it hides," the ranger said softly, his voice carrying no surprise. "Do not betray it." Evan returned to his team, but he was a different person. He was quiet, distant. He never told them what he saw. How could he? Who would believe a story of a hidden world beneath the Grand Canyon? They would call him crazy, attribute it to fatigue or dehydration. His dropped bag was reported as lost in a simple rock slide. He left the expedition early and returned home, the small nodal crystal clutched safely in his pocket. No one believed his fragmented, half-told stories. But Evan knew the truth. He understood that he had been given a glimpse into a history far greater than mankind's. He no longer saw himself as just a scientist, but as a guardian. He had a new purpose: to protect the canyon's deepest secret, to honor the memory of what it had shown him. The Grand Canyon is more than a wonder of nature, it's a living history book. It holds stories of our planet's birth, its violent transformations, and its silent guardians. Evan learned that day that some chapters are not meant for everyone. They are waiting, protected by the canyon itself, for those who are willing to listen. So the next time you look out over those magnificent depths, remember that what you see is only the surface. The real wonders are the ones that remain unseen, reminding us to respect and protect these sacred places. Thanks for watching.